It's 1958. I'm doing a year in Orleans Parish Prison in New Orleans, Louisiana for stealing a car. Orleans Parish Prison was built in the late 1800s and had a medieval, there's no other word to use, a medieval feel to it. It was made out of stone. The windows are bars set in the stone. The doors themselves, they're four-man cells on the tiers, and they're a cage. There are stone walls on the side, a stone wall in the back with the window, the bars, and the front is all bars with a door built into rollers so it slides up and down. It's a long hallway. There are probably 20 cells on each side. So there's right across from you. So there's 80 men on this side and 80 men on that side. In New Orleans Parish Prison, on the tiers at that time, there were three distinct groups of prisoners. There were prisoners who were awaiting trial. They have been charged with a crime, but they haven't gone to court yet. Then there are people who are doing parish time, which is equivalent to county time. They're on there. And then they have men who are on the way to Angola. They're on there. They're just waiting for the bus to come take them. Now, if you are going to Angola in the 50s, you're going to your death. Something like 88% of all the people sentenced to Angola at that time died there. And they didn't die pretty. They were either worked to death out on the farms where they cut sugar cane and picked crops, and they were under the guard of a man on horseback with a 12-gauge shotgun loaded with buckshot. And it was clearly understood by all concerned that he would kill you if you tried to run. He is not going to try to capture you. He is not going to try to wound you. He is going to kill you. And if he doesn't, then more than likely someone else there in the penitentiary, because these are desperate men, and what else can you do to them? They're in Angola for life. So if you are one of those men that is going to go to Angola at 5 o'clock the next morning, that fear of what's coming weighs very heavily on a person's mind. I think they left on a Tuesday morning, and on the night before they would be sent to Angola, the prisoners on the tier sang them off. And my friends, that was truly one of the most emotional experiences of my entire life. I can still see it in my mind's eye today. At night, the tier is very dimly lit. I mean, really dimly lit. And how you could see down it, you take a mirror and you look down in that sort of haze from smoke, and because you could smoke in prison there. And so the hallway is smoky, and everybody's got their arms hanging out of the bars. And so you look down with your mirror and you look down the hallway that way. What you see is two lines of bars with men's arms hanging out, disembodied arms, because you can't see the people at all. And the prison authorities, following tradition, in the first cell down there at the very end of the cell block, what we're looking towards, they had somebody in there who could sing and had a wonderful singing voice. And of course, this is New Orleans, and even in jail, there are lots of guys in there that can really sing. And come the stroke of midnight, in that dark, dingy, stone, medieval fortress of a prison, we sang those men off on their way to hell. Down at the end of the hall, and I can't sing, so you'll have to excuse me because I have to sing this. Down at the end of the hall in that very first cell, that person with the great voice sang out, all you dope fiends. And every person on the tier would then sing back to them, just trust in Jesus. And then he would sing, and he will help you. And they would sing, if you let him. And then they would go down through the list of the crimes that men are going to Angola for. You know, they're going up on dope, or if they've killed somebody, they sing, all you killers. And they sing back, just trust in Jesus. And they go through all of them. The emotion of those men singing that song, because they all knew that one day they might get on that bus. They're that kind of people for the most part. And the voices of the men, I mean, you know, all day long they've been crying and sobbing and praying. And some of them were even like beating their heads against the wall, trying to, I guess, in a vain attempt to kill themselves, or at the very least render themselves unconscious so they don't have to live with that fear. And now they're singing that spiritual song. And my friends, it was the gospel meeting for all gospel meeting. It was so spiritual, so unifying, so heart-wrenching, that to this very day, I still dream about that. And those poor men going off to Angola.
Oh, you dope fiends.